So tonight is going to be one of those topics that if I don't make you a little bit uncomfortable, then I failed in my mission tonight. And if I don't heed my own words and make myself a bit uncomfortable, I've also failed. So I want you to understand that the topic is very specific for a reason, and I'm not intentionally offending you, but I do hope, inshallah ta'ala, that every single one of you finds something in this lecture tonight where you say to yourself, maybe that's where I fall and that's where I need to work. Maybe that's where I fall and that's where I need to work. Why? Because we all have deficiencies. And if any of you actually read the title of the talk before you signed up, How to Become a More Wholesome Muslim, there's meaning to that. What I could do is I could talk to you about the things that I'm pretty certain as an audience, as maybe a masjid-going audience or an audience that typically goes to masajid and engages in Islamic activities and is familiar with Islamic education online. I could share with you the things that I know that most of you probably already do and encourage you to do more of it and talk about the rewards of those things. But actually what I want you to do, and what I find is the most useful exercise at the beginning of any talk, is for you to actually do your own introspection and ask yourself, if I was giving advice to myself, if myself just walked through the door and I was another person, and I had to give myself advice as a friend, or give a lecture, or talk to someone on a heart-to-heart basis, and say something that might be an uncomfortable truth, what would I say to myself? If I knew myself as a friend for, let's say, 5 months, and I've spent every day with you for 5 months, then I probably have a pretty good idea of who you are. Now, you've spent every single moment with yourself since you've been here. But I'm talking about if your self was a friend. 5 months, 6 months, I've seen you every day, and now I need to have a really uncomfortable conversation with you. What would I have to say to you? And what would be the nasiha, the advice that you need to hear? And subhanAllah, you'll find that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu mentioned that tafakkur, tadabbur and tafakkur, that contemplation, introspection, is like holding up a mirror to yourself. And it is the clearest, most clarifying mirror that you can possibly have. You see, if you have a righteous friend that is willing to share with you certain things that you might need to hear at times because they love you more than they love your friendship. Those are special people, by the way. If you come across one of them, alhamdulillah. They love you more than they love your friendship. Meaning what? I'd rather tell you something that I think you need to hear, even if that means that I might alienate you from me because I think it'll make you a better person. Very few friends are like that. And when you find a friend like that, make sure that when they give you nasiha, when they give you that sincere advice, you thank them in a way that they will want to give it to you again, and that they'll be willing to receive it as well. If you have people like that, those are the people that Allah is talking about when He says, tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. They enjoin one another in truth, and they keep each other patient. Those types of friends, right? That will actually take the time and care to love you more than they even love your friendship. Now, yourself is even more clarifying, especially if you're paying close attention to yourself. And you should care about your hereafter more than anyone else cares for your hereafter. You see, there's a handoff point, especially for many Muslims that grow up in Muslim households, where your parents care more for your Islam than you care for your own Islam. And then there comes a point where you've got to take control of your own narrative and your own religion and your own story. And this has to become now your pursuit. It's no longer them waking you up for prayer. It's yourself waking up for prayer before they can even come knock on the door. It's no longer them reminding you. It's you reminding yourself, because you realize at some point you love your success in the akhirah more than they love your success in the akhirah. I'll give you an example from a worldly perspective. You know, there's a point in life where a person who's pursuing a certain level of education has to have buy-in in their own education. Your parents can put you in the best schools. Think about the worldly perspective. They can get you the best teachers, the best education. They can invest in your after-school education. They can help get you enrolled in the best universities. But at some point, it's going to be you sitting in that chair in the classroom, and if you don't choose to learn and succeed, you're just going to fail even in the best university.